Besties, welcome to my channel, and today we'll be going through how to sew men's shirts from start to finish. So I have my vintage fabric, then I was marking my starting point. After getting your starting point, then you mark 4 inches downwards, and then you rule a straight line. It depends on the body size you are working with, but 4 inches is the standard. And for my full length, I have 29 inches, but I added 1 inch for sewing allowance and also for joining at the shoulder. So I have 30 inches. So I marked it and I ruled a straight line. And this piece we are cutting is actually the back piece. So after deriving that, we are working with chest 40. Depends on how yours is, your client you are sewing for. So I choose to use 44 inches for my chest. So I made sure I got 11 inches from the starting point down to my finish point. Then I cut it out. So I also went ahead to cut out the starting point, and then we kept it. Like I said earlier, that was the back piece. And now for the front piece, also put your fabric on fold, and then you have to add about 2 inches. Adding the 2 inches is for our button overlap, both the two sides, the left and the right. So on this front piece, I did not mark down 4 inches. I marked out just the full length from my starting point, which is 30 inches. For that back piece we had earlier, we had 34 inches on that, but this back piece we only marked our full length, which is 30 inches. And you can also add half inch at the starting point for joining, but I didn't do that. I only had 30 inches for my full length. So we bring the back piece and then we place on top the front piece. You know, the front piece has extra 2 inches, so we are going to bring it out. We join the both starting points together. That 4 inches, we join it together, the back and the front, and then we are having the extra 4 inches below. Now on this part, we'll mark out 4 inches or 3.5. Then the half inch that remain will be for joining. Then that 3.5 that we marked, we are going to just slant it to the top part, not into the button part, that extra 2 inches we had left. So this is how it's looking. So we are going to drag it down. Like I said earlier, we didn't put it at the down part. We started from the 4 inches. So now after dragging it down, we fold, and this is how it's looking like. We fold it and pin it down. So after pinning it down, we are going to be taking our shoulder measurement, our neck measurement, and the armhole measurement. So for I was trying to tell you that my full length is actually 30 inches. All right, so we'll take our shoulder measurement. Our shoulder here, we have about 17 inches. So we are going to take it out on this part, divided by 2. So for our neckline, our width, we are going to be using 2.5 inches. And for the depth of the neck, we are using 3 inches. So what we are arriving at on the neck part is 17.5 inches. So you are going to measure what you've done, if you can get 17.5 or 17 inches. Yeah, after you have placed your 2.5 and 3 inches for the depth. So for my armhole, we are using 9 inches, and since we don't have armhole curve, we are going to use our freehand method, come out by 1/2 inch and then draft it out. That's only for the front piece. So I am marking, just trying to get everything to be equal. I'm just marking half an inch at the end and I'll cut it out. So now for the neck, you are only taking the front part and you cut it out, only the front part. And look at what we did at the back part. We took it out and we removed that part. Then you just trim out the excess on that neck part. Look at how our neck is looking like. Then I went ahead and I cut my armhole. Mind you, we are cutting the back piece first. So this is how I cut my back piece. Then you carry the front piece and then cut it out. So after that, we'll be moving to our sleeve. Although I already have my sleeve pattern, but the way you can do yours is to measure what you have on your bodice. Then I also measure what I have on the pattern to be sure that it's the same thing, and it was actually the same. So if you want to watch a tutorial on how to make a sleeve pattern, you can go onto my YouTube channel and you will see the video there. So our full length will be working with 25.5. Then actually our flap, which is where the button will be about 3.5 inches, and the main arm length will be about 21.5 inches. So that's what I was doing here. I actually used my pattern already to rule out my armhole curve. So what I was just doing here is to accurately mark each length and each round sleeve, um, to mark it accurately. So I was just taking it bit by bit. I had my 6 inches length, 12, and then the 21.5 inches, and then I just made it easier, then marked it out. Alright, so after that we'll then cut out our flap. Our flap was 3 inches long and the wrist was about 11 inches. So it's going to be on fold. 3.5 inches, because the half inch we use it to join it to the full armhole. So here I was cutting out my facing, the facing at the back. I was cutting it out, and it's usually of length 6 inches to 5 inches, or rather 5 inches to 6 inches. So right here I was done cutting out all the piece I need for our shirt. So we'll be having also another full tutorial of how to sew the details of the shirt. So bye, like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching.